Hello everyone and welcome to this month's Qubit Network's Nonprofit Spotlight. Today I'm blessed to be here with my friend Steve Bernth, who's the Executive Director of the Youth Service Bureau of LaPorte County. Steve, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Ryan. We appreciate you being here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So Steve, tell me a little bit about the Youth Service Bureau of LaPorte County.
So the Youth Service Bureau of LaPorte County was founded back in 1972. So we've been around quite a while. We were one of the first youth service bureaus founded in the state of Indiana as part of a federal grant way back then. And of all the youth service bureaus that came about as part of that initial grant, there's only 4 that remain today, and we're one of those 4.
Cool. I didn't even know that.
So
what is it that, your mission's probably changed a little bit over the years, but, as it stands today, what's your mission?
Yeah, mission really is to just help kids and families in LaPorte County. We do that through a variety of programs. Juvenile delinquency prevention is one of our core roles that we focus on. So we have several programs that we operate here. We have the Teen Court program. Teen Court is a diversionary program for first-time juvenile offenders or low-level offenders who commit either crimes in the community, like maybe shoplifting, vandalism, things like that, or we're also taking referrals from the schools where we work directly with the school staff and school resource officers, addressing things like, again, vandalism maybe that takes place inside the school, bullying issues, fights within the school, theft within the school, and even some attendance issue problems as well. So that's the Teen Court program. And with that, the kids, if they're referred to Teen Court, they kind of decide that there's no question of their guilt or innocence. They agree that they are guilty of what they've been charged with. And then they're assigned a peer, if you will, public defender who represents them in their hearing. But the entire jury is made up of youth their own age, and they ultimately are the ones that decide the sentence for the offender. And usually it involves restitution if something was stolen or broken, things like that. And then community service hours is also a big one within the Teen Court program.
Okay.
But we like, it seems that with that program, it seems to mean more coming from their peers than it does from,
You're probably getting ahead of kids who otherwise might stray big time away.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's kind of a do-over for a mistake.
Right.
Keeps them from having a juvenile record even.
Right.
And like we said, gives them a chance to kind of realize what they did was wrong and kind of try to get them back on the right path again.
Okay. What are some of the other programs that you have?
We also have the School Buddies program. School Buddies is a school-based mentoring program. We operate primarily in the elementary schools, mostly the ones in LaPorte Community Schools, but we're also out at Westville and South Central. With COVID, things have been a little challenging.
Right.
Every school now is kind of on their own schedule as far as whether they're meeting in person or still virtual or part-time virtual, part-time in person. So that's been a bit of a challenge for us on that end, on the youth end. And then on the volunteer side of it, because of the schedule instability that both probably with the kids themselves and with people who are working, it's a little bit difficult when you don't know week to week how your life's going as well.
Right.
We do rely on a lot of retired people, and with COVID again, that's been a bit of an issue because of obviously the risk factors of being older, so we have to take that into account as well.
So I know that my wife Sarah is a school buddy, and she was very excited when she finally got to go back and see her buddy.
Right.
So I know that that's a important time for those kids to spend time with a buddy, and then I know the buddies like it as well. So
it's a great program. The kids in the program really they're referred to the program for a variety of reasons, but ultimately is they really just need a friend.
Right.
They need a friend.
Yeah.
And there's not anything that, and I'll make a pitch for volunteers that despite the fact that we are in COVID and whatnot, we still are operating the program. We always need volunteers. and people worry that it could be, am I good enough or whatever for this, but you really, the only prerequisite, you just want to be able to help kids.
Well, I know from talking to you earlier that this kind of segues into my next question, like, if people wanted to help the Youth Service Bureau of Porte County, how could they do it? And obviously volunteerism is I know one of the main things that you're after, and so that's the ability to really help with the mentoring and the school buddies, et cetera. So what are some other ways that if people wanted to help that they could help?
So yeah, again, we're always looking for volunteers for that program. We're actually launching a new program here any day now called Safe Place.
Okay.
In a nutshell, that's kind of it's a program that if a kid finds himself out kind of on the street for whatever reason it might be, they got in a fight with their mom and dad, they don't feel like they can go home, they don't have any friends' house they could go to, and it's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. We're going to have sites set up throughout LaPorte County where they can go and report in, and then we'll dispatch someone there to try to resolve the situation, try to get them back home. If we can't get them back home, we can find a shelter situation for them for that night. But that's going to require a lot of community service. So if there's someone out there who really likes to do presentations or community service kind of speeches, things like that, we could certainly use that as well.
Great. And then I'm assuming financially you can always use money.
Yeah, with COVID, we've basically canceled all of our fundraisers. We normally raise about $30,000 a year through fundraising.
Right.
So that's been cut now to, we had a small fundraiser at Halloween, a kind of a family fun walk. That raised about $500, but obviously that's just a drop in the bucket of the $30,000. So yeah, any financial support would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, the last thing is if people wanted to find out more about Youth Service Bureau of Porte County, how would they do that?
So probably the easiest way, our website is youthservicebureau.com.
Okay.
We were fortunate to have a board member way back when that said you need to get on this whole internet thing, and we got a good domain name back then. So youthservicebureau.com will take you right to our site. There's a donate button on that. It also tells about our programs. There are the application for the School Buddies volunteering is there. All of our contact information is there if people have questions on that. We also have a Facebook page, which it's Youth Service Bureau of LaPorte County. Just throw that in Google, it'll come up.
Gotcha.
That's kind of more recent information, if you will, to kind of see what's going on this week or next week and whatnot.
Okay, then we'll have that in our, as I like to call it, the show notes of YouTube. So, Steve, really appreciate your time today and the good work you're doing. Being a LaPorte County community member, I get to see it firsthand, and so I really appreciate what you do.
Yeah, we thank you, Ryan. Qubit and New Age has been a huge supporter of our agency for many, many years.
And we're blessed to be a blessing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.